bullshit. She just straight up called Native Americans, the indigenous people of this land, enemies of peace for protecting their homeland from colonizers. And what does that sound like?
Once again, y'all are throwing away an opportunity to have educational discussions about the Black American history being highlighted by Cowboy Carter, just so y'all can make lazy ass critiques of Beyonce.
Beyonce is on hot seat again, and this time it is not about her music and it is not about her performance. It is more about history, politics, and as well the message that a lot of people believe that she is pushing. The controversy that this is causing is very crazy. Beyonce was seen wearing a shirt that has the Buffalo Soldiers boldly printed on it. They are the black men who served in the US military during the post-Civil War era. And in a related article that she herself released, she referred to people who oppose the Western expansion as enemy of peace. This has been causing her to get dragged a lot. So many people are saying she's not for black people. You know, there was a conversation a few months ago of some people saying she is planted and that she is a propaganda. I'm very sure we had that conversation on this channel as well. This has caused a lot of reaction. Before we come back and talk about it, let's get into what the people are saying about her wearing a shirt that the Buffalo Soldiers were boldly printed on it.
Bruh, Beyonce supporting genociders just because they are black? I wish I could say I was surprised. I'm gonna need all the motherfuckers who said Beyonce's American propaganda was subversive to come to the front, because y'all looking really dumb right now. She released a statement in support of the Buffalo Soldiers, who were black soldiers that were named Buffalo Soldiers after Native Americans who they hunted. She even had the audacity to release a statement calling Native Americans enemies of peace, order, and settlement, also fighting off Mexican revolutionaries. This is American imperialist and settler colonial propaganda in blackface. Mexican revolutionaries, just as those ICE raids was happening, and the day after we go to war with Iran. I need y'all to be wake the fuck up. I just made a video about how America wants black people to be patriots so they'll fight and die for this country, and this shit just came out. The sad part is a lot of black Americans are gonna eat this shit up and defend her anyways, because her stands for Beyonce and they're too tied to black identity that they can't even see that they're working against it. Service of white supremacy. Golly.
Like, I be wanting to walk on eggshells with everybody else. Like, that shit blows the fuck out of me. Like, racial insecurity has got to stop. Like, bro, like, why?
Hey, my name is CJ and I'm finna cook you. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but you do not owe these people any type of kinship just because they are black and successful within a capitalist and imperialist society. We warned you all about Beyonce's hyper-nationalism in December and January, but you all did not listen. Now she's full-on face-off fascist and you all are still caping for her and still trying to renegotiate what she means. Beyonce is a black bourgeois capitalist at the end of the day that does not have the material interests of the black community in her heart. She co-ops revolutionary aesthetics and revolutionary concepts to her own art for capitalist exploitation. This is the main issue and problem with Beyonce. Kendrick Lamar does the same exact thing. Now that that's out the way, I'm going to get into the historical context on why people are mad about Beyonce using the Buffalo Soldiers and infantilizing them and saying that we need to recognize them as black Americans and why this is harmful and dangerous. I'm going to show the actual t-shirt that Beyonce used to push this propaganda. Pause and read. The use of blacks is already sending off alarm bells in my head. I don't know if it did in yours. And then it's the constant renegotiation of the black identity with the American identity and the identity of being in the military, which are both concepts that are inherently colonial. The military and the American identity are colonial constructs and concepts. Being in a colonizer's army and military is something that should never be celebrated and is something that should never be put to the forefront. This conversation gets even more glaring when we talk about the Buffalo Soldiers, because the Buffalo Soldiers were indeed agents of settler colonialism and ethnic displacement of indigenous people that was facilitated by the United States government and military. The regiments and cavalries that Beyonce mentioned on that t-shirt literally scalped Native Americans. Pause and read. It's just an anti-indigenous t-shirt. Calling the indigenous Americans Indians is such an outdated and racist terms. It does not even make sense. And also calling the indigenous people to this land enemies of peace when the active agent of this violence is the colonizer, the United States of America, is disingenuous. It's also disingenuous to say that the Mexican revolutionaries were the bad guy in this situation, because these Mexican revolutionaries were literally taking in African slaves from America and putting them in Mexico and protecting these people and making sure they were free. The Buffalo Soldiers were agents of settler colonialism and ethnic displacement, like I said earlier in this video. There's nothing that should be celebrated about this, or there's nothing that should be honored about this. This is why I laughed when so many people came for my neck when I said that black people do have the propensity to be either colonizers or agents of settler colonialism. Just because that title is not automatically designated to us because of our social positioning, we do have the propensity to play into these systems and to the degradation of other marginalized people. There's no racial insecurity over here. It's just me recognizing that the systems that are at play use black faces and black people to carry out their white supremacy. I highly recommend Wretched Earth by Frantz Fanon because he explores this concept and construct of how the colonizer uses black people and indigenous people to a land to carry out their needs. They use black people with high social capital to push these pervasive messages of American settler colonial fascism. It's also no reason why Beyonce was singing the national anthem. That song is not on Cowboy Carter, my nigga. But it's seeming like y'all just gonna have to learn the hard way because, again, like I said, we told y'all in December and January that Beyonce is a machine and is a tool for American propaganda. Now, we can have a conversation about how the social positioning of the people who were in these Buffalo Soldiers regiments was either coerced or manipulative, but we still understand the impact of what they did. The impact matters way over the intent because the intent has ramifications even until this day. The impact of what they did should never ever be honored or celebrated because it would lead to the unaliving of thousands of indigenous people to this land.
Beyonce saw all the Cowboy Carter is American propaganda discourse on this app and said to herself, this isn't even my final form. Because why the fuck did she just release a t-shirt in regards to the Buffalo Soldiers talking about, and I quote, their antagonists were the enemies of peace, order, and settlement, warring Indians, bandits, cattle thieves, murderous gunmen, bootleggers, trespassers, and Mexican revolutionaries. All these they met many times and with success, regardless of extremes of climate and terrain that range from the broken, rugged, and torrid Big Bend of Texas to the rolling plains, Badlands, and some freezing temperatures of South Dakota. Many a frontier official owed his life and his job to the support given him by these black men in blue, and many more farmers and ranchers slept soundly in their beds because a thin line of black troopers guarded them from harm. Like, no bullshit, she just straight up called Native Americans, the indigenous people of this land, enemies of peace for protecting their homeland from colonizers. And what does that sound like? Do we know what that sounds like? Yeah, we do. That sounds like American propaganda! And it's not just American propaganda, it's propaganda as well. I'm not seeing a lot of people clock that, but look at the lines in here talking about some damn, oh, to the support given him by these black men in blue. Oh, more farmers and ranchers slept soundly in their beds because a thin line of black troopers guarded them from harm. What does it sound like, y'all? Like, y'all gotta start connecting the dots. So now that we know this exists, I want y'all to do two things. One, apologize to Hannah because her take continues to be correct to this day. And two, expect Andrew Jackson's Indian Removal Act speech to be used as lyrics for Beyonce's rock album.
Once again, y'all are throwing away an opportunity to have educational discussions about the Black American history being highlighted by Cowboy Carter just so y'all can make lazy ass critiques of Beyonce, because it is more popular to criticize Beyonce than it is to have intellectually honest and well-informed discussions about Black American history. That is why these takes lack so much historical context and information, like the fact that by the 1860s, Native Americans were enslaving thousands of African people. It was documented that the Cherokee people at one point had almost 5,000 African people enslaved within its nation at one time, and that's just them, right? But saying that information would make it complicated for people to push the narrative that they're trying to push about Beyonce. Because in reality, y'all don't give a fuck about this history. Y'all wouldn't be talking about this history if it wasn't for Beyonce. And y'all clearly don't care enough to actually educate yourself about this history instead of just Googling a couple things so that you can open up this app and open up your mouth because you don't want to open up a book. That is why this conversation has only produced controversy and contention since the very beginning of it, because the person who started it got on here talking out the side of her neck about Black culture that not only could she not recognize, but she had to listen to Black Southerners with 2 Black parents talk about the cultural references in that performance to even be informed of that culture. She, just like a lot of y'all who keep trying to reheat her nachos, was truly only interested in being right and not in having a constructive conversation about Black Southern history and the juxtaposition it has in American history overall. That's why y'all just keep saying she was right and regurgitating her talking points in a different font. It's very unoriginal, exhausting, and annoying.
Beyonce made that t-shirt about the Buffalo Soldiers as if the Black Seminoles didn't exist. If you want to talk about a group of people who came together with their community to fight off their oppressors not once but twice from Georgia to Florida, and then were chased all the way across the southern United States, that is today, you have some amazing stories of resistance, resilience, and Black culture existing in the form of a soldier that is not imperialistic. But I think every choice is calculated. As a historian, I know that narratives is one of the most important part of history. And I refuse to believe that she didn't have the resources to find a more uplifting story.
So I saw that situation where people were saying Beyonce was wearing that Buffalo Soldier shirt, right? And whether Beyonce was wrong or not, well, she is. To turn around and try to use that situation where, we're talking about history where people sit right here and try to justify, unaliving Native Americans and try to use that situation to try to say y'all was right for a whole different situation where y'all was actually fucking wrong is... I swear to God, y'all are full of shit. Y'all are full of shit. Then turn around and try to say that Quadroon was right. Talk about something. See, we told y'all Hand was right. Hand was right. The bitch was not right. Right? Especially for a whole different situation where she tried to say Beyonce was an American propagandist because she saw a fucking flag. She saw an American flag. Right? And then on top of that, she tried to backtrack and say, oh, I only said that because I was drunk. And then when she saw more people supporting the bullshit she said, she turned around and started doubling down. And then went and bought the fucking American propagandist ticket. And then tried to justify it by saying, oh, because I criticize her doesn't mean I can't enjoy her art. Yes, the fuck it does, especially when you saying she's a whole American propagandist. You supporting her with money, that means you support American propagandists. You support American propaganda. Not everybody want to act fucking stupid. Everybody want to act fucking dumb. Everybody want to act dumb as shit. If somebody has an ideology I don't fuck with, I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars on them. Right? Like I said, y'all just full of shit. Y'all really is. That white girl full of shit. Quadroon, wherever the fuck she is, full of shit. Right? Y'all full of shit because y'all really just want to criticize Beyonce for whatever fucking reason, right? I don't know what the fuck was going on with that. But like, yeah, y'all don't really give a fuck. Y'all just, I don't know.
In the Buffalo Soldiers discourse with Beyonce, y'all sound so stupid. Y'all acting like these Black men in that age had options. She's gonna uplift everybody Black in history, regardless of. Well, they didn't do these things in the name of white supremacy. They did it in the name of survival. It was that or slavery. What would you do? I can guess. Y'all get on my damn nerves. Oh my God. Focus, people. We got other shit to deal with. Stop talking about Beyonce and this damn Buffalo Soldier t-shirt. It's not important. Shut up. Just shut up. Black people need to stick together, okay? And if you're anything other than Black in this country, you need to listen to Black Americans. We're the only people who know what the fuck is going on. All you Latino people, like, look at all of y'all ain't got nothing done. Because we sat out. Hell.
What do you guys think about what these people are saying about the statement and calling them the enemy of peace? And as well, what do you think about the fact that she is wearing that shirt? Some people are saying maybe the message that people think she's passing is not actually what she's passing. What I have read about the Buffalo Soldiers were Black soldiers who fought for the U.S. Army during the late 1800s. Yes, they were brave. They were trying to find pride and purpose in a country that treated them like a second-class citizen. Aside from that and all of that sugarcoating, they were as well used by the U.S. government to enforce settler colonialism, pushing westward and as well taking land from indigenous people and securing territory for the same system that has enslaved their grandparents. So when Beyonce put on that shirt, then an article calling these people enemy of peace, so people are like, whose side are you really on? Because Western expansion, according to what we have read in history, the Western expansion wasn't a peaceful one at all. It was very brutal. It was a genocide. It was a displacement. So framing the resistance to that as anti-peace come off as a very tone-deaf message being passed across. There are some people defending her, and there are some people who are not having the fact that she did that. So the internet is kind of like split into two, and I want us to make this a learning moment as much as possible. I genuinely feel like from the stitches that I've watched, what is really frustrating people is the pattern. You know, Beyonce has built her image as a symbol of Black pride, from formation and down to her work with the HBCU and down to her use of African-inspired visuals. So these are things that we know Beyonce has. So this kind of seems like, we don't at this particular point know the side that you are on, like with this message that you are passing. And there have always been a talk of her being a propaganda, if you guys remember very well. This is like aligning herself with the glorification of America imperialism. So a lot of people are hungry that yes, you might be repping the clothes, you might be repping, the image, but you're not actually representing or repping the truth of this whole thing. So to a lot of people, it is not just about a shirt, because some people were like, oh, they don't really care about what is going on. It is not just a shirt. The article that was released was a message as well, because yes, they know that shirt, the image printed on that shirt speaks a lot of volume, and is passing a lot of message across. It is pushing a particular story. There is a very thin line in honoring Black resilience and as well becoming a mouthpiece for the very system that have always tried to erase Black people and their resistance. So yes, I think this is where the people who are literally pissed at all of this is where they are coming from. So many people are saying if Black excellence wants to be celebrated, it has to be done in a way that is not in service of white supremacy legacy. I really want to hear what you guys think about what people are saying about this conversation, because Twitter is really going wild. I even feel like the conversation is a bit calm on TikTok. The tweet I have been seeing on Twitter is insane. Like, what people are saying, like, people are not having this at all. I really want to hear on both sides. What do you guys think? Like I said, the internet is divided into two. There are some people supporting her, and there are some saying, nah, it's like, they've been calling you propaganda. I feel like this is actually true. Some are even coming for the people who are supporting her in all of this. Let me hear what you guys think about this, and do not forget that this is for educational purpose only. So let's make the comment section very, very, educational. Let me hear what you think in the comment section. I am going to see you guys in the next one.